Hi and welcome to Best in Tesla. Today I'm driving the ID4 MAX version, Volkswagen's new flagship model in the EV world. So let's take it for a spin and check it out, and let's dive right in. So let's take it for a spin.
That's it?
It's not a fast car. Okay, so it's not the most fun car in the world, but it is not a bad car. The cars start at about $40,000 and the Max version that I'm driving gets close to $50,000. So it is by no means an affordable car, but what do you get for these $50,000? Well, it does a 0 to 60 in about 8.5 seconds, so not really a quick electric car, and the cheaper versions of this car will do a 0 to 60 in only 11 seconds, so that feels more like an ice car. And the top speed tops out at 160 kilometers an hour, so not a fast car either. And it is only a rear-wheel drive. They will come with a four-wheel drive later, but that will of course be even more expensive. It does have 506 kilometers of range VLTP, so that is a very good range. Again, not the cheaper versions, but we will get back to that. It can only charge with 125 kilowatts, so not very fast and not very future-proof, but decent charging speed, nothing you can't live with. And it does have a nice big boot with 543 liters of cargo space, so that is nice. Unfortunately, it does not have a frunk. Even though this is a fully BEV built from the ground up on their MEB battery platform, they still fill up the front with all kinds of crap, so it does not have as big a crumble zone as the Model Y or the Ford Mark E, so that is a shame. The inside of the car is very nice. It does feel a bit better than the ID3, but this is also the Max version I'm driving in, so the cheaper versions are of course not as nice in size and is more a stripped down version of this car. But there is still a lot of piano black plastic everywhere, which I really don't like. It's just impossible to keep clean and it gives it a bit of a cheap feeling. But there is plenty of space in the car, both in the front and the back seat, and it gets a great trunk. And it also has a tow hitch that can tow up to 1,000 kilos, so that is great. So all in all, a great family car for a family that wants to go electric. But the price is a bit high. It starts at $40,000, but for that you will only get the ID4 City. And there is a reason why it's called City, because it's pretty much only a city car. So it comes with a small battery of 55 kilowatt hours and have a VLTP range of only 343 kilometers or 214 miles. So we know that the VLTP is a bit optimistic when it comes to real life driving. For example, my Model 3 gets 580 kilometers VLTP. It is actually possible if you drive like grandpa and only on main roads. I have tested this out and it was actually my very first video here on YouTube. But in real life with mixed driving I get about 400 kilometers, so about 70% of the VLTP. So if that is the same with the ID4, we are talking about 240 kilometers in summer times and about 20% lower in winter here in Europe, so the city version will quickly come below 200 kilometers of range. So yeah, the cheap versions is just a city car disguised as a big SUV that is not a very good city car. So in my opinion, we need to get up to at least the Life version. But if you want all the great technology Volkswagen is showing off in the advertisement with the heads-up display, the automatic trunk, the keyless features and so on, you would have to go with the Max version. But here in Denmark I can't even buy the Max version because it's sold out and they don't know when they will get more, because Volkswagen is not making as many of these ID4 as Tesla is making of the Model Y. And then we do have to talk about the elephant in the room, because the price is pretty much the exact same price as the Tesla Model 3 long range and only a couple of $1,000 less than the Model Y. That is also an electric SUV. So this being best in Tesla, I of course have to compare it to the golden standard of EVs, Tesla. So with the Tesla Model Y, that only is a couple of $1,000 more expensive than the ID4 MAX, you will get a 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds, a top speed of 217 kilometers an hour, a range of 505 VLTP, charging speed of 250 kilowatt. The trunk has 702 liters of cargo space and a front with 125 liters, so combined 827 liters, 280 liters more cargo space than the ID4. So yeah, Tesla pretty much beats it on every single matrix and have a much bigger and faster charging network. So not surprisingly, the ID4 can't really match up with the Model Y or the Model 3 for that matter. Since the Model 3 has a frunk of 125 liters, the Model 3 does actually have about the same size cargo space as the big ID4 SUV, and the Model 3 also has a tow hitch, but the Model 3's long range is the same price as the ID4 MAX and has even better specs than the Model Y. But hey, it's not only me, the Tesla fanboy, that thinks that Tesla is ahead. Even CEO Herbert Diess just said in an interview that Tesla is the leader in EVs right now, but they hope and believe they can catch up.
And Tesla for sure is in the lead in some aspects there, but we are not so far behind and we are gaining momentum.
So going to be excited to see if the ID4 sales numbers here in the first half of the year, where the Model Y is not out in Europe yet, and then compare it to the second half of the year when the made in German Model Y is coming out. That is in the same price range as the ID4 MAX, but comes with much better specs. The ID3 did not sell as many here in Denmark as Volkswagen would like, but I do think I know why. Because it's not a family car, it's targeted for the young people who love small sporty hatchback here in Europe, as we can also see in all their advertisement, a lot of young people. But as I said in my review of the ID3, the only thing wrong with the ID3 is the price and maybe a few software bugs, but it is still an expensive car, so a bit over the normal price the young people would pay for a little sporty hatchback. But the ID4 is a family car, and the family guys are willing to pay more than the young folks. So will the ID4 be a more popular car in my country and many other countries as well? Well, I think the ID4 MAX has the same problem as the ID3. They are both great electric cars, but for what you get, they're just too expensive. The ID4 MAX is in Tesla territory when it comes to price, but falls short on every single thing compared to the Model Y: range, charging speed, charging network, top speed, acceleration, cargo space, four-wheel drive, everything Tesla does better.
I can do anything better than you.
So I think the cheapest version of the ID4 has too short of a range. They are pretty much just city cars, as I mentioned, and if you're looking for a city car, there are much more affordable options on the market, and the ID4 is a bit big to be a city car, so scrap those. And the Max, the Tech, the Family and the Business version is a bit on the expensive side, so scrap those as well. The Life and the First versions is right in the sweet spot. I would like it to be a couple of $1,000s cheaper, but it is a decent price for a big electric SUV family car. So that is definitely the one I would recommend, and I do mean that. I would recommend this car. It's a great car. You don't get the wow effect with this car. It's just a very good, decent family car that's electric and nothing too crazy. I think the most wow effect would be the heads-up display. That works very well, I must say, but it is only the Max version that you would get this, and right now here in Denmark anyway, you can't buy it. But the Life and the First version are also about $7,000 to $8,000 cheaper than the Model Y, so that is more fitting, because you do get more with the Model Y, but then it's also a great deal more expensive. So if I was talking to my friends or my mother and they asked me if they should buy the ID4, I would say it's a great car. I can definitely recommend that one. I would recommend the Life for the first version because that's a decent price for what you get. I personally would want the Max version, but I would buy the first version. Simply because the Max version, it gets too close to the Model Y and my brain can't stop screaming. I would recommend that instead then. You just get more bang for your buck there. So I do think it would be a bit difficult for the ID4 in the US, where the Model Y is already out and the Ford Mach-E is also out. That is also at the same price range and an SUV and have a bit better specs than the ID4 in most metrics. So the competition is a bit harder in the US already. So going to be exciting to see how the ID4 does in America. But as Volkswagen has been saying, the ID4 is not in competition with Tesla, but the ICE SUVs, and I totally agree, and of course I understand why Volkswagen don't want people going around comparing the ID4 to the Model Y, because it can't keep up. But there is more than plenty of room for all of them in the EV market, and they are all in competition with the ICE car, so that's great. And the ID4 is a great replacement for any ICE car or hybrid or any other kind of crap. I would definitely recommend the ID4 over any ICE or hybrid car. The ID4 is the real deal, a true BEV. So I just want to make it clear, I actually do like this car. It's a really great car to drive. Had the space I would like as a family man and a tow hitch, and was very comfy, and the drive was very good. But no, it can't match the Model Y, but it's a great alternative to Tesla. And yet another electric car entering the car market, making sure we will have less ICE cars on the road, so that's great, and I wish the ID4 the best of luck, and crossing my fingers that the next ID model will be a bit more affordable. The ID4 is more fitting in price than the ID3 in my opinion, so hopefully the price of the next ID family member will come with an even more fitting price. Good to be back. So 8.5 seconds, 0 to 60. Not that fun. But 4.5 seconds.
That is fun.
And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.